All right. So yesterday I posted something on my YouTube channel where some guy did some hate speech towards me, and yeah, it's like drama, and drama always has two sides, right? Um, so I want to clear up a couple of things that may or may not led to that hate speech. Um, so I prepped a couple of things. I want to talk about what is wrong with the Tomb Runner community. How do I start this? Like, I'm gonna um, start like how this community is like structured. There's like a couple of super mods. Um, the community is very divided into like the classic Tomb Raiders, including AOD, and then the trilogy Tomb Raiders, um, the reboot Tomb Raiders, and some yeah niche Tomb Raider games. I'm gonna say there's like little to no communication between these separate communities. There's a bit of communication here. There is a little, I mean, but other than that, these communities are like yeah, very like isolated inside this community. Um, super mods. There's like Evil. He is, I think, the founder of this Tomb Runner community. He is like an inactive runner though. Like he didn't do runs for 10 years. He's still like around doing like very like good cause in my opinion. He's like a conservative guy. He has the right ideas. He's very respectful, um, and but he can't be bothered anymore. He's like not too active. He's like in lots of speedrunning communities. Other than this, and he can't be bothered by the like bullshit I'm gonna show you. So he just makes like some statement and that's it. Um, but he makes good statements. I'm gonna say. All right. Who else is a super mod right now? This one later. April. What is he? Here. What was it? There. So he's also like a very long time runner. He's like a very skilled runner. He's mainly running TR3 every couple of months. He is active in the community when there's like new stuff going on. Um, when there's drama, when there's like rules voting going on for some rule edition, which um, doesn't really work in my opinion. Like the rules are still like very sparse in like the TR2 leaderboards, for example. Like this is gonna be mainly about TR2 for one reason, because the TR2 community is the largest. This community had a large influx of new people. Other Tomb Raider games don't have it that much. Yeah, 3, for example, a couple of runs, but the other games even less. Like TR1 is a bit popular, but yeah, the rules like um, so the rules are really sparse compared to other communities. Like I'm gonna compare, which you should do. You should not compare this community to other speedrun communities. Like this community is very very isolated. It has a lot of new runners that don't have a speedrunning background. I'm not going to click into the names. Like you can check for yourself. Like you kind of know from the ideas that people have that they really don't have any speedrun background, and that is going to be an issue I'm going to talk about. So that's, for example, Vice City. Like it's unheard of to compare like compare our like that Tomb Raider community to other speedrunning communities and how they handle stuff with like hundreds and thousands of people. Um, so here's like one game which has very clear rules, like very like common sense, which shouldn't even be on the like rules. Like those should be like common sense, like something like this. Files belong to different versions of the game may not be mixed. That's like something that shouldn't be added. It should be like common sense. But There's a reason why we can't have good things, and that's people having like doing weird stuff. I don't know. But yeah, this community, for example, found it necessary that people were like violating against some simple rule that you do not mix game versions. Like you can't have like an English and Japanese version mixed together for like a different result or something. Yeah, that's unheard of in speedrunning. Also, like replays and alt tabbing is also an issue, which could be talked about, but not going to go into deep. But yeah, it's unheard of to compare anything to other communities. Like it is unheard of. You get attacked for that. So, where was I? I was like at April. Rules, mod team. Oh yeah, there's like McKeel. This one is going to be very an interesting person in this community. There's going to be lots of this guy coming up. There's also Midget. Midget, he's a tier 2 only runner, kinda. He runs glitchless. Mainly, he did like one glitched run, one and done. And he tried a tier 3 glitched and didn't really, yeah. Get any, like, he didn't get anywhere there, basically. So, pretty much, the mod team is like, yeah, like only classic Tomb Raiders. Like, they kind of force upon the other communities, like those like mods that only are into classic Tomb Raiders. And then there's like also a problem. Like I'm gonna talk about drama here and there, and I was a super mod here of this community not for long because reasons. And it's kind of fun if you look at these communities. Like when I got super modded in also like speedrun.com, you get super modded on every like Tomb Raider game, and those communities down there were like, "What the fuck? Why do we get new mods all of a sudden?" Like, watch these like speedruns, and these speed games. Let's say Lara Croft Go. No, okay, that is a bit. That one is fine actually. Let's go like Rise of the Tomb Raider or the reboot. So there's lots of mods in here that probably like half of them probably don't even know how to speedrun this at all. It's like, okay, here they kind of went for something new or something, but this one is like, yeah, it's like very separate. But everything like Tomb Raider, it's kept together. Like some people wanted to do a separate community, and Supermod said, hey, let's keep it together and so on. So they kind of stayed. Anyway, so history session. 2 years ago, the leaderboards of the tier 2 speedrun were like very, very like sparse. Like there was this run, this one, like crit header run, not this one, and Riku, I think here. Like there were like 4, maybe 5 runs, like 1.5 years ago on these leaderboards. And during that time, a lot of people came in, as I said, with like little to no speedrunning background, which had severe consequences, in my opinion. So, talked about the rules a bit. These rules are like very, yeah, very, like these rules are good. Like it says mods are not allowed, disabling FMVs, which we're going to talk about a bit, which is like the latest drama, more or less. Disabling FMVs on an executable that doesn't allow it will incur a time penalty. So yeah, basically good rules, but there are way more rules needed for this community with the people that don't have any speedrunning background. They get some very bad ideas and lead to very like confusing stuff. I'm gonna talk about that. So when there was 4 runs, people came in, right? And also let me see what I'm talking about here. This will come later. So the first, in my opinion, big drama happened when I discovered a couple of new strats on the so-called Souls executable. So around half a year ago, I found some offshoring fast flicker. See, false fast flicker. This one was like September or something, yeah, 2017. This one works on the PS1, or it's not needed on PS1. It works on the Souls executable on PC, and this basically saves like 20 seconds of the run, so you can just let's not get some copyright thing. You can basically get across this pool, and it give or take saves 20 seconds. And like there's 2 executables. Guys of the Tomb Raider 2 community know there was Souls in German. German was like the go for executable, because people were getting that like recommended by Apple. He said, like, when people asked in the Tomb Raider 2 channel, what game version do I use, and answer was like, oh, they use this executable, just like that, use this executable. So people ran for this and didn't ask questions. And I experimented around with Souls because I'm a PS1 runner originally. Or PS1 is also going to be something. Because PS1 has the same mechanics as Souls, I was like very inclined to play Souls because I'm used to it. And in my opinion, the tricks there were way easier than the German executable. And I'm still thinking they are. But there's like different opinions, that's fine. So German was the go for executable until I kind of found this strat. Like from this moment onward, I was like I tried to push the executable. Like I tried to convince people that this executable is good. Sometimes even like sometimes a bit more than I should. Maybe that's fine. I'm not a saint. Yeah, I'm also like going through all of this. I'm not saying that I'm like a saint, like I'm a very good person. So you need to have some basic, yeah, you kind of need to prove your point like one way or another. So I did it a couple of ways. So this point onwards, like I was like trying people to to switch more or less, because like I was like I want to see very good runs of Tomb Raider. Like I want this speed run to be really as good as possible. And in my opinion, the Souls executable at this point already was an executable that people should go for, or at least consider switching to, and taking a look at least. So a bit later, this I'm kind of mixing up the like timeline. It's a bit hard to track, but I'm having this spreadsheet. Let's go for my PC any percent guide. I got the spreadsheet here. So I went for the spreadsheet, and I tried to fuck off. Got it. Yes. I tried to accumulate like how much time save there are in that executable, in the source executable over like EPC, then German. Um, when I found this strat, the Temple of Jian skip was not even known. Like this one, like say this one wasn't known. I can't edit, one sec. Open this in this one. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So this one wasn't known. So Temple of Jian was basically the same. Can I edit? Come on. Give me that. Give me that. Okay. So this one wasn't known. This one I found like 3 months ago, roughly, and it was still like 30 seconds quicker in theory. Of course, this is all theoretical, but like nailing these strats that are only possible in this executable, you could, in theory, get 30 seconds of a time save. So, and I've been like, I've been putting this like out in the open, and people are questioning, "Ooh, this is a good executable," but it had a one problem. Back in the day, floating islands had like a like for some people impossible strat. Like watch my PB, 56, 58, the current world record. People were really not willing to do the guard push, which was the strat back before the co-op started. Well, this one is with co-ops, but I went for still doing this because it's, in my opinion, it's consistent enough. But people are like shit talking about this, like left and right, like this is, you can't finish a run with this. It's like making fun of this, like these 30 seconds, fuck them. It's impossible to finish. So that was the mindset of people. Like there's no doubt, there's the mindset. So I optimized this one. You can see the jump sequence. I actually managed to get like not consistently, but in theory, get a time that was comparable to the German EPC go-to strat with like this jump sequence you just saw. Let's check if everything is okay. Good. So I've been optimizing this. I kind of showed that you can get around a 130 floating islands with this, with of course some RNG, but there's like speedrunning. Like speedrunning has some RNG involved, and this is what was the only RNG that happened. This is like the only RNG in the game that happens. It was an offshore rig. Like back in the day, okay, this one I watched out was a huge, where is it? Offshore rig, fast flicker. This one was a very hard strat to pull off. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You had to pull this off in a couple of seconds before enemies come close, but I've managed to pull it off a couple of times. So there's so much about theory. So people were like talking about, yeah, this guard, this is like, it's like RNG, like you can't have RNG in runs, like fuck that. So basically, people were like blocking the progress of this game, in my opinion. Like mainly like Nikhil, this guy, he was blocking progress actively. Like he shit talked this executable like to no end. You can get chat logs. Like I actually like hit drama. I saved all the chat logs of Tom 2 channel, the rules voting, rules discussion, and general. So you can verify by yourself what happened. I'm gonna go through a couple of these, not everything, but yeah. So people are like not doing this. So okay, now what is the drama about this? Okay, people have different opinions. That's fine. And also, like, to be fair, many of my runs failed because of this guy, but I went for like the greedy strat where I still tried to do something with this guy. Instead, this time around, I did some backup strat where this just worked. Like you need to go down, and then this guy pushes you normally. So yeah, it only went good in bad runs, but that doesn't matter. Like the time save for the other levels should be like really enough to like do the strat, in my opinion. But opinions, you know. So you see, like if this Temple of Xi'an wasn't there, we could see lots of time save in these levels. 5, 3, not so much. 12, 4, 18. That is a lot of time save here. That is like 30 plus seconds time save here. And people said Barking Monastery has a huge time loss, like the hugest time loss compared after like the floating island as well. Back then I had this like on 15 even because I didn't come up with the good strats just yet. So they said Barkhang is slow, floating islands is slow. So and then some runners had the idea, and we are gonna get into this part of the picture. Some guys had the idea, what if I use the Souls version, get those time saves here, and swap the executable, like quit the game, patch the game, swap the executable, and play with the German executable from here on onwards. And mainly, McKeel and Nenad had like this opinion. Some others as well that don't run and were like very vocal still. But yeah, McKeel was like, looking at the rules, this should be fine. Back then, this was not there, so that was a consequence of that mindset. I don't know if use executable was already there. I think it was, so it would be already like telling people that they should use one version only. So anyway, those people were like McKeel not so much. McKeel was, well, maybe we should discuss, okay, but Nena, this guy, he is a new runner with probably no speedrunning background, and he doesn't have any speedrunning like basic principles. So he thought, hey, it's RTA, it's not, you can do whatever you want with the game if you finish. He said, let's just swap the executable. Okay, 6 months prior to that, like I also had the idea, like just like for fun, like I had in my stream said like, oh man, what if you could like swap the executable and floating island? So this like I didn't have any strat. I didn't even had the flying corner bug. I didn't have any strats for this. Like I think I had a flying corner bug, but it was very slow and so on. But I had the idea like, what if you just hot swap the executable? And people in chat were like laughing their asses off. Yeah, hot swap and so on. But this guy was serious about this. This guy, he said, he should be allowed to do this. And if he's not allowed, he would quit running the game. And okay, I was also a bit heated up. I also said I would quit running if I saw a fucking like executable hot swap. So I'm not a saint. So I'm trying to like depict both sides. So I also said, like, if this was a thing, I would be like done with this community already. Like, what speedrunning community would allow like patching during a run? Like that is something I've never like considered even. Like I've made fun of that, like because you can't think about it, but seriously pushing for it, that was some new level. That was some next level thing. So so then I kind of really like poked the mods for it. So hey, mods, there are people trying to like doing runs like that, and okay, there's a bit of backstory before this even. So what led to it? Like there's a couple of things that led to it even. I'm gonna talk about April again a bit. Like if you watch his, I don't know if it's still there. Segmented glitches, no, it's on his YouTube probably. But let me check the rules. Okay, so team segments is not allowed anymore. But yeah, bit of backstory. Executable swapping was done in segmented runs by Apple. He kind of showed it as like the admin, like this supermod he is. And people from there, like, if it's allowed in segmented, why is it not allowed in any percent and so on? People were like arguing like that. So yeah, April is, in my opinion, he did a couple of wrong things by not, like, I'm not pointing out mistakes, but he did things that had some weird consequences. I'm not telling anyone does a mistake here. Um, let's go to Tomb Raider 3 actually. And I'm not, don't want to skip too much, but yeah, I'm gonna go into game file modding in a bit after I'm kind of done with Soul's drama. But yeah, he kind of did it already, and people were like, "Hey, if it's in segmented runs, why not?" Um, so, and there was a huge discussion. Like, this guy did not understand why it should be like morally questionable to swap a game version during a run. Like, you don't do that in speedruns. You just choose one version, play that either like single segmentedly or RTA wise with some save load strats or whatever. Simple. Keep it simple. Like, yeah, there's also the keep it simple stupid principle. This is something some people should read about a bit. Like, keep it simple, stupid. Like, some things should be kept simple, and that's one of these things. Use one version, play that, get a good time, done. But not like these. So that was a huge discussion. It was very heated up. In the end, we did a straw poll. We didn't have the rules voting shenanigans yet. So we did a straw poll, and the straw poll resulted in banning access swapping for any percent and segmented. And that's it. And he kind of deleted runs. Like, okay, I also had some times where I deleted runs because PS1 was on the same leaderboards as this, and I found my PS1 run was better than PC, so I deleted PC and so on. Yeah, I did that too. So I'm not a saint. So yeah, huge drama, a couple of deleted runs off the board because of an unneeded discussion like that, which really should not be in a speedrunning community, and a couple of mods that took away their mod status by themselves and so on. That was drama like it's in the book. So from then on, it's already like a bit heated, right? So I want to go through more rules. Like, there was recently some modding discussion. Like, also some mods joined the fray, like being very proud of their work. So they said, "Hey, why would you like to like have the speedrun, or like the game modded and so on? Like, you could have PS1 health bar and everything, and resizing health bar, not affect like resizing resolution, not affecting health bar and so on. All kind of that shenanigans. So couple of the last rule voting was like about allowing texture mods. Like, I didn't really understand because mods already are not allowed. Why is there a need for texture mods? It's already in there, clear, and yeah. And then you have to do a bit deeper digging. So watch Apple done. He's one super mod of the Tomb Raider community, and what does he do? You can see a modded background, main menu background. May say, ain't a biggie, it's not affecting gameplay, so it's fine. Just let him do. But if people see that, like, if people look at the rules, I don't know if the rules are the same on TR3. Let me check just so keeping the facts straight. Yeah, okay. Apparently mods are allowed, but um, yeah, look at these rules. Like tier 3 is not as much ran as tier 2, and the rules are like just two sentences. So yeah, if people see something like this, they're gonna say like, so modding probably isn't that much of an issue. If I see a super mod do this already, like if he does that, I like a couple of texture mods or something that also don't affect the gameplay shouldn't be a thing. Uh, so that's just one of these like little things that have consequences. Not saying it's a mistake. It just had like I don't know if it had direct consequences, but I could think of people seeing this to be like, yeah, whatever. Like once apparently are not allowed in general, shouldn't be, but it's still done, and it's done in my opinion like 90% of runs. Okay, timeline. Anyway, so modding is a thing. So this adds to confusion, this more discussion in general, which is really not needed. Just play a game how it is, original game files, and nothing bad would happen. Just everyone do that, everything would be good. Timelines. So yeah, I said McKeel actively try to stop like progress of Tomb Raider 2. So let me like this spreadsheet. I've put this spreadsheet a couple of times in like the Tom 2 channel. A couple of times I've left it open to discussion so people can say, okay, would you think these time saves are like theoretically accurate? Like if you pull off these strats, do they save that much? I asked 3-4 times. I even tagged like add two tier 2 runners so everyone can read or like get that I posted something. And only one guy answered, and that was Crit. And he said, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Except maybe like Ice Palace, that was maybe a bit too much. Maybe here you can also say -4. I had like -8 or so. Like that jump pad strat doesn't save that much if you do the other strat correctly. He said, apart from that, it's like really good. He's like, he was at that point the world record holder. And he was the only one answering like after like 5 tries. So what happens? Like look at this community. What happens? Like let me inaccurate. No, not accurate. Here. So there was some guy, Zenitro, he is part of this community since longer, but only occasionally tries classic toms. So recently there was May. This is German. This is 2nd May. He was like, for example, like asking about which executable he should use. Now I was like pulling up my spreadsheet. I asked a couple of times if this is like accurate, and I'm saying in general it's quicker and easier. Floater can be a bit messy. Can't use your strats there. So this was also the guy that found the like slope jumpy strats. So yeah, and open cards, floater can be a bit messy, but it should usually work out. And yeah. And McKee comes along. Like someone asks, looking at my doc, if Souls is faster, why is everyone using German? Are they just in for the beer? Well, mostly because of strats I found that have the largest skips are recent. That is true. A couple of months old with the Souls offshore rig flicker, and that also adds the Temple of Xi'an. And this guy comes along because it's not accurate, and German is not RNG dependent for floater. He's saying my spreadsheet is not accurate. I've asked 5 times people to like question the way I tag these time saves. I asked 5 times. No one was giving any input for that. And then he comes along. It's inaccurate because reasons. And yeah, it's all theory. Everything's a theory. Yeah? It's like doesn't matter. Like the way Crit all of a sudden got a like 25-second time save in this almost 25-second, 23-second time save in these parts of the run are like not accurate when he switched to this version. So he had a 10 minutes 2 seconds best Opera House ending, I think, and then with Souls he had a 9:39. So that's as accurate as it gets. So yeah, this guy actively blocking progress in my opinion. So when did it get like really heated up? Like there were a couple of more things. Like I am, I'm, I said it a couple of times, and I'm not a saint. I am someone that asks the questions like these rules, in my opinion, are not fit for a community like this. Like lots of new runners, lots of new ideas, weird ideas. You need some fundamental rules that need to be in place. So where did it like escalate? Let's go to level leaderboards. So let's talk about real escalation. We are talking about this here. So this guy, also this Sleeve Spliceman, I'm not sure if I'm talking about it shortly, maybe. Yeah, later, this one. So let me just show things. Level leaderboard, let's go to 40 fathoms. Let's go to glitchless. There's a run done by Midget and McKeel, used on like done on a German version. What do you expect from a submission like this if there's a German version here on a community that has some integrity? What would you expect? You would expect this game to be German, like completely, right? Because a German version is used, and it's expected to be German, right? So you look into this. Whoops. So all of a sudden, the start is in French. And the end is in English. And I am someone that pokes around for something like this. Like, this is something like, just keep it professional, keep it simple, stupid. Like, not calling anyone stupid is just like the phrase. Just keep it simple. And just use one version. Like, okay, and then let's see. Let me go to discussion. I of course poked around. Like, I'm someone that looks at this and I'm like, oh my god, this is why we can't have nice things, right? And I poked around. Like, let me check. What did I say? Verified? No. Verified is gonna be a common word. Like, this is a huge. This is like 2 years of Tom 2 channel. I need to. I had it earlier. In French. Alright, here. So those guys asked for verification of that run, and can see video doesn't matter. And I'm asking like, why does it start in French and end in English? Like this video here, this right here. He says because my game is in French and his is in English, but you use a German version. Huh? Take a guess. There's segment, a German executable basically. So yeah, I'm poking around. So not a saint. I'm poking around. It was like I was knowing what's going on. Like these people don't know how to set up their games. It's what it is. So yeah, here this guy. My game is good. Setup is in German. FMV is in English, and like FMV, he probably means like the audio. And yeah, the The voice lines are in English and menus in French. Smiley face. He's smiling about it. Like he doesn't even have like one clue if something should be wrong about that. Like this is some next level stuff, in my opinion. It's just there. Like see this as yourself. Like if you want to have some bit of professionality in like speedrunning, of course it's all like for fun and so on, but please use one version if you do speedruns or something. Like I don't know. And yeah, I was like doing this comment like passive aggressive. It is. Oh yeah, I forgot not mixing the game versions. It was too much to ask, and then I verified it, so it was fine. And then yeah, you know, this started a huge thing. So this ended up, and yeah, I also said like this German executable. I am in my other videos. If you watched the latest PS1 introduction, where I said or like this introduction here, the speedrun guide. Um, this one is cracked, and believe it or not, this community. All right, take a deep breath. That executable, no one knows where it's from. No one knew where it's from. It's someone, like I think Michi found that executable somewhere in the internet or something. And don't quote me on that, but that's what has been said. And Apple used it and like shared it, and like Apple used it in his segmented run and shared it to people. And I always had like some bad feelings about that executable. Why are people running on an executable with unknown origin, and that is obviously like no CD cracked, and who knows if there's any other modifications done to that executable. So it's kind of impossible to have like game files of one version with that executable. And then I was like, I was also super mod back like at this point. I'm saying like not it's possible to find the right game files because nobody knows where they exist from. And believe it or not, this whole community, no one has like the CD or something or like the game release where that German executable was from. That is something those people are dealing with, and like Apple knew about this. He shared this. People just use this. It's fine. And use it however. Put it in your Steam directory, mix the files, do everything. Like do a working version is a good version. Like anything that works is fine. And there was at the time also not at this time, but a couple of months prior, there was like Rico was also Supermod. I don't think he is still. I'm not seeing him up here anymore. But he despised that executable because it was unknown origin. Why are people running? Just use some proven like origin like this one, he said, and not this one because who would run with this? Like executable that is unknown origin. But this executable, guys, this one was like a religion for people. Like people, there was some next level. Like this cracked German executable, it was religious. Like you were not allowed to say anything about this. Uh, but yeah, it's like unknown origin. It could have been modified. No one knows, but people were like being told use this, and I'm like someone that says, "Fuck that!" Like you cannot do something like that. Like what if? What if there's a game changing mechanic that cracker from like 25 like 15 years ago put into that executable that had gameplay effects? Like keep it simple. Like people knew this already. Like people knew this. So I started this discussion about should we add a rule that like it was how to say, I wanted to add a rule that indirectly banned the German executable just because of the fact that the game files are not known. Like yeah, the version is unknown. So I went ahead, like if you can read this, like I'm gonna put this on somewhere so you can read, so no one deletes any of this. There has been some deletion of like walls and so on. So this one is as it is. So I started this discussion like, let's do somewhere here, say, let's do a voting for that we like having like basically this rule, which is a really common sense, a very logical rule. But as a consequence, it kind of would have stopped submission of the German executable runs. So I said like 90% of the leaderboards are like breaking this rule. It would only be applied to future runs, and we'd have to like, not sure how I said it, like, yeah, we'd have to switch to, like, it wasn't in the rule submission, but we'd have to switch to EPC, which kind of was done in the end. I was like I was asking the right question. And in some people I raised some doubt. In some people not. So where was I? So how did that discussion go, man? So I was doing a rule voting. It's deleted now because I had enough. I had to. Okay, more of that later. I did a rule voting which basically said this rule: do not mix versions of like game files of different versions, with a couple of info like why it should be like that. Like you should not, like it could be like some theoretical scenario. It could be that that you can mix together a version that is better than a retail version. So very logical rule should be added, and so on. So I went for the voting. Yes, no, rule addition, and what do we do with people that break the rule, or rejection and so on, time penalty, whatever. So that then the rule went, and then in the rules discussion. So this, hopefully, I think this is saved. I'm not gonna go through any of this. There's like rules discussion here around. There were like thousands of messages, so I'm not going through that. There was like so yeah, I'm also like pointing out that there's like differences in one level file, but no one really cared. So how did this go anyway? So Evil, as the I said, like the guy with principles, he said definitely yes, like add the rule. It needs to be banned. Like game file mixing should be banned. Otherwise, we end up like Half-Life community. Like we end up in like some deep shit. Basically, if that is not added, deep shit meaning like submissions like that look like this, like very unprofessional. And so on. Like who knows? Like someday there's gonna be, who knows, some Japanese version that has like weak enemies and bad like level geometry and so on. People would mix level files in between, like all that shenanigans would have been prevented with that rule. That rule is still not there. People don't want that apparently. So how did the rule voting went? I started the rule voting. How did it go? All right. So I was like making points. I was like telling myself, keep your temper. Do not snap or something, right? Do not keep your temper. I kept my temper for 1 or 2 days and was like approaching people with reason. I said like, hey, you're playing with a German, if a cracked executable no one knows it's from, so you don't have the game files, no one has the game files, so it should be like raising questions, right? Like a normal community, if you put this rule voting into like a community with some integrity, like with some reasonable people thinking about stuff, you'd get the answer. Like for people that didn't know, like people would seriously question like why was I recommended like an executable that is of unknown origin and no one has the game files? That would be the normal reaction of people. Like why is it like that? We should really switch to something of like known origins, like some game version that has like a verified source. That did not happen. Instead, people were like, "What the fuck is the problem? Like, you fucking what, mate? Like, I got like fucking like a little debated. Like, he wants to ban like everything. Uh, and there was this version, like this EPC, everyone could have switched to. I was making a patch and so on, but those guys were like many of the toxic guys, in my opinion, toxic. They don't consider themselves toxic, but I'm gonna have some screenshots soon. So, like, what the fuck is the problem? Uh, it was fine all the time. Who cares what game files it came with? It should be fine. It probably is with the game files that Steam has and GOG where they put their executables in. I don't have, like, people didn't see any issue. And I was like, as I earlier said, like, I was like doing these theoretical things, like, what if that executable is about, like, it went to the executable discussion, not like it was indirectly banning the executable because no one knew, right? I was also pointing out that, yeah, this executable, no one knows who cracked that and what alterations were done. Theoretical scenario, like game mechanics change or something, right? No one knows. Like, it could have been found out like years later that that executable, like, with who knows, like 50 runs done on German executable, would have to be like invalidated because there was an irreproducible gameplay mechanic, because the cracker did something, did poked some values that affected gameplay, like the RNG, for example. Could have been. Who knows? No one to this day, no one verified. So if you don't know, keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Do not use that, in my opinion. Like, if it's in question, if no one knows, do not use that, in my opinion. But people were like, you know, this one was a wholly executable. People were like, no, well, why is anything wrong? What does this guy want? He wants to delete all our runs. And I was like stating that as well, like, with that theoretical scenario where someday it's found that it has gameplay mechanics that are not there in a release version, then that would be a nuclear bomb, in my opinion. In my opinion, all the runs should be removed if that executable, if that happened. And I also said I would remove them by myself. Like, if that is found, like, that would be a nuclear bomb to uh, speedrunning this game. Like, this would have made the leaderboards very clear. Uh, and people didn't understand that even. Like, hey, it's just for fun. What does it matter if what does it matter if there's gameplay differences not seen in a retail version, like a purchasable version of the game? People weren't understanding that, and it kind of twisted my words a lot. Like, the next day, they put it really out of context. Like, they only said, "Yeah, you want to delete all German runs? You legit." Not really, but like how it, like how you read it. Um, so people are like putting it out of context, saying like, "I want, my sole purpose is to ban German." Um, not ban German, like that was kind of the purpose, but delete German runs from the leaderboards. That's like how twisted it got. Like, and then the discussion went like into a real shit show. So yeah, if you want to read any of that, don't, trust me, don't. Look for this like Half-Life tag from Evil in the like rules discussion chat log. I really wanted to have this like civil as possible, but that discussion went places. It's such a simple rule, not possible. And yeah, how did the rule voting even go? Like, it's not about the discussion. Discussion can go anywhere. The rule voting was 50-50 to adding a rule like that. And it was very split. The one that didn't want the rule were like solely Tomb Raider 2 runners. You could check the reactions. You kind of do rules voting by reactions, and you could check who voted what and so on. And it was only tier 2 runners saying no to the rule. Very like all the other people. Like it was a rule voting for all the Tomb Raider classic games. Um, yeah, you could tell tier 2 runners here, all the other runners here with reason. It was just that. Um, it was just this, like this pick. I had a lot of fun doing this pick, by the way. I'm a very creative guy. All right. That was a huge drama. How did it end? Like we used to do rule voting for 3 days. I was not able to like deal with the shit that happened like in the first 2 days of that. Like it was getting worse. I was like also like trying to help. I was doing a patcher, which I was doing a patcher so people can don't have issues switching from a Steam version and so on. I got this now for the UK box version, which works. You can get this from my community, by the way. And yeah, people were like not liking this. Like, hey, like this one is used like officially. Like, there's no game file modification because I hate that. Then this is like mounting a CD and so on, and you can play like it can just play it normally. Just need to mount this ISO here. And people don't want that. There was like Resident Sleeper ISO mounting was kind of went really toxic. And at some point I fucking like snapped more or less. Like I didn't snap. I didn't hurt any feelings. I probably hurt this guy's feelings. I said something along the lines, "Okay, guys, this is really hopeless. This community is a bit hopeless. The way like this goes." Um, and this is like dealt with. And yeah, like this guy had like a better rule. Like, don't know if I can find this. This is some. I hope I can find it somewhere. So Mikhail had a better rule than me. Anyway, you can check the log out. I'm not gonna go too deep, but this guy had this genius idea. Genius. That we should add a rule that said not something like this. Files belonging to a different version may not be mixed. Like this basically was my wording. And he said to keep things simple in his way, probably, he wanted to add a rule, and very many people agreed to that. Like, hey, that's a really good rule. Files belonging to different versions of the game may be mixed if they do not serve an advantage or something. That is a rule proposition from this guy. I shit you not. Rules on a speedrun: do mix files, it's fine. Just do that. Like any version that runs is a good version, but just be careful that you don't have like accidentally have any gameplay advantage due to that. Like there's some game files in other Tomb Raider games, like I heard like in TR3 and TR4 there was let's go to the Half-Life. In TR3 and TR4 there's like a couple of levels with different geometry and so on. That's already enough to really add that rule in my opinion. And some that even have some time difference. It's just like some crawl space is bigger in one version than the other and so on. It is just a very logical rule that should be added to keep it simple. But yeah, for Tomb Raider 2 in this case, the only difference is known like between Souls, and like the Souls version has a floating islands level 5 that came with a PS1 controller as a controls. instead of the keyboard arrow buttons. So this is the only difference known. There might be others. Like in my opinion, you can't be sure. There might be others. There might be like like AI pathing patterns different or something. You can't really tell unless you really look byte by byte into the game file. But people were like, "It's just a controller, man." Um, no one, no one experienced anything different in that level. So who cares? So for people that switched to the Souls executable, they added this archive. Let me open that or download that. So here this is EPC, UK box, which is Souls. This one is old German kinda. Multi-patch is no one needs that. So already downloaded that, but yeah, you can check. Like this discussion didn't go anywhere. Like I kind of quit after being like very like attacked more or less. Like just read. You can read what happened. I was like confronted with it. Like the vocal majority was like very confronting towards me. I just I couldn't bear it anymore. So here there's a README. It says like a wall of text which is no one gonna read. Floating. So here, although not mandatory, it is also recommended to overwrite the floating TR2 file in the game's data folder. Multiplayer and Premiere collections share the same floating TR file. Only the same floating TR2 file. Only KBox and unique. And here, by official like people, not sure who wrote this. Probably like the leadership. It's not mandatory to run with game files that belong to a version, and that is some yeah. I'm not gonna comment on that. It's just talks for itself. So instead of keeping it simple, people are explicitly told like do whatever. Any working version is a good version, and don't care about this. Don't care about any like version difference. Like watch some run having like a US background here, even though like that version comes with like watch my run 56. No, this one I got it here. Okay. So the background from all these versions should look like this, but no one cares. They just put it in the like Steam, GOG, anything that works is good. So how long is this already? 1 hour. I'm gonna hurry up a little. I guess no one's gonna watch like a 2 hour rant. It's not a rant really. I'm really trying to like get a as neutral as possible picture of this. Even though that's not possible. Like me talking about this is like obviously subjective, but you can check the chat logs if you want to make sure. So let's go to the picks so I don't forget anything. Field Spice Man. Just short, like you can see that there's no segmented runs for TR2. That wasn't always the case. We have some drama about New Game Plus. I'm gonna talk that in a minute. So there was like a segmented run by April and McKeel. Both did like the access swap because okay, April did it first. McKeel asked April, "Is this okay? Blah blah. Can I do that? Okay." So it was like just from like history. Like back when April did that run, very few people ran this. Rules not really needed. It could just communicate like, "Hey, how are you running this? How should this be run?" and that'll be fine. Then okay, you run this, blah blah blah. So that's why how the non-fundamental rules are missing. The fundamental rules are missing. I think at least. So April did it first, kinda with. Let's go to McKeel's channel. April did it first. McKeel copied it more or less like the way April did his segmented run here. So in this segmented run, he removed it from the leaderboards after like the access swap voting thing. But yeah, like just a thing like a segmented run should take in-game time. Where am I? A segmented run should solely use in-game time, but his run claims it's a 55:18, and the in-game time said 55:27. So what happened here is he kind of redid some segments in between, and that's not a segmented run anymore, in my opinion. This is like a spliced run, in my opinion. That's why I put this feed splice, man. Like, it should be really simple to do a segmented run and then just have the in-game time, and then he's claiming it's something else. He redid. I don't know where the splice happens, but yeah, he did read it as a segment and save 10 seconds, whatever. So yeah, this is splice. So this person doesn't know what a segmented run is. He doesn't know how to set his game up, obviously, like I said. Smiles about it. This is by the way, some Dunning-Kruger effect, in my opinion. Like, I'm not diagnosing here, but watch about this. Like, if someone is not able to even fathom like some circumstance, then he's more likely to think he's like over the top. Just to read about this a bit. Like, this is, in my opinion, some very good showcase of an effect like that. Yeah, like he thinks he's like the saint. He knows how to do everything. But yeah, he doesn't know how to has set this game up. He doesn't know what a segmented run is, and I don't have any screenshots for that. But he doesn't even know what a single segmented run is. So how did this, like a bit more history session? These runs used to be single segmented. Like, all Tomb Raider runs from this community used to be single segmented, but then they switched like 2 years ago or something, roughly. They switched to RTA to make it more user friendly, and that is a really good idea. Like, if people need saves to get the run done and so on, this is fine. Like, single segmenting these runs is hard. Like, tier 2 is possible, but tier 3 and so on, yeah, very hard games to do in one session. But yeah, and then there's this saves tag. Like, other communities that don't have it ready now, other communities have usually some, yeah, like two states thing. Either like in-game time if it's single segmented, or like real time without loads if it's like RTA, if you use loads and so on, if it's not single segment, if the in-game timer got reset and so on. So this one is saves, and this one is, in my opinion, really confusing. It should, in my opinion, say segmentation. If it's an RTA run, use reloads, reset levels, and if it's a single segmented run, because single segmented runs, in my opinion, should deserve some respect. I mean, like, if you get something done single segmented, it's like, good job, dude. In my opinion, they should be honored. But this is not what it stands for, but it's kind of what people think it stands for. Okay. It's kind of what people think it stands for, and this led to confusion. Believe it or not, people are thinking that saves should be like just the um, just the addition, like just using saves, not even reloading. Just using the saves should be like considered as something not being single segmented anymore. So there was a discussion going on. Believe it or not, it was a bit childish. But yeah, some guy got a single segmented run done because single segmented. If you glossary here, if you like, yeah, as I said, this community is very isolated. So there's opinions like that are really not there, or like terms that are apparently not applicable to this game or so on, or to other games. So yeah, Speedruns Live, huge, very huge site, says a single segmented run is when a speedrun never loads a save. So this is a good, really good source for the single segmented runners, right? And some people don't understand because they got confused. Believe it or not, they got confused with the saves. Like there have been runs from me that on PS1 you have a restart level functionality, and this can still say no, but it could restart levels like 5 times. And someone on the outside thinking like this saves thing is some segmentation flag, think that the in-game time is like done in one segment. It is in one segment, like yeah, because only then this one kind of counts because you could reset a lot. So yeah, I was like also like poking like, hey, why is this variable there? It's really not, but it's really only for saves. If you save in a run, it's not about segmentation. If you use that save to reload, so there was discussions about, oh, it makes you more confident if you save, so it has some effect and so on, and I don't know, but yeah. So some people like McKeel, for example, think that a run isn't single segmented anymore when it uses saves itself. It doesn't matter if they are utilized, I mean, to reload the game, but as soon as you save, the run, according to this person, is not single segmented anymore. So yeah, I kind of sent him this in his stream, and he was like personally attacking me. Oh my god, this really suits you. This is so sad from you. This you search for a definition of this, like really laughing me out. Like that was like before any, like never had something like that. I didn't even attack that guy. Like he probably thinks I attacked him by saying something, like calling him ridiculous. He thinks. I think here, like this is some IL. Oh yeah, this I didn't go for. I'm gonna hurry up. So yeah, this guy attacked me, and I blocked him after that, like for like giving him a source of what a single segmented run is. So what I want to say is this guy, this supermod, doesn't know what a segmented run is, doesn't know what a single segmented run is, does not know how to set up his game, and he's a supermod of all these games. Um, and attacks me like yesterday, like personally, with some hate speech. So what else is wrong? So yeah, when could I have like, oops, um, when could I have like attacked him? So there was another occurrence of some drama. Not too much. It was a bit of a misunderstanding on my part. Drama. Catacombs. So it was this one here. So there's one guy that did an individual level speedrun of Catacombs of the Talion, and in my like it was tied with McKeel, like by in-game time, and I retimed that one to check like where did it do that. So here he's tied with McKeel. Retiming says it was very close to the 134, and I was like someone that says like he should deserve first place. Like I didn't know the mechanic what happens exactly when two guys have the same in-game time. And like there was this opinion on like, yeah, it should be second place because uh, it was submitted later. So that was like the stance, and I was like, dude, that guy does not deserve second place. And I was like, not like this one deserves first place. And I didn't know how speedrun.com handled this, so there might be a misunderstanding here. I wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have questioned it that much if I knew it was like a tied first place instead of first, second, third. I wouldn't have made such a scene. I'm gonna say, like here retiming, I gotta here say it should be like better. But yeah, people said IGTs should only say stat screen. I have like an in-game time dumper. Let's see. Here. I have an in-game time dumper. Got it, whatever. That you can save after level and then you can, for example, let me show that. Tier 2, tier R dump, save game 0. So you can get the precise in-game time. Like I was like, I didn't want like who knows when this community grows, like we would have 10 runs that tie the same seconds run. It wouldn't look good, but yeah, it was a bit unnecessary after all. Like this tied first place, I didn't know it was a thing. So yeah, I called like the fact that like here, where did I say that? Here. That's something like if it could be like first in RTA, like for RTA time, if you time it like that, and second in in-game time. He said yes. He said like this second thing, like if people told me that it was like second place, like a tied first place, I would have not like poked around. But yeah, if I knew better, I wouldn't have said anything. But yeah, I still found like the mindset of someone like, let me see, of someone being like second place. Like I'm like stating that someone should get like first, second place, and so on. So yeah, by me, that guy should have deserved first place. And people are like, okay, if it's tied, that guy gets second place. It wasn't talked about um, tied, any tied first place. I didn't know that. So if any, this one was a bit of a misunderstanding. But yeah, I didn't attack someone personally. Like I think he takes this one. I think he said he takes this one personally. Like he thinks I called him as a person ridiculous or something. But this, I called this one, this, yeah, like this one here ridiculous. If that's a thing, someone gets second place IDT and so on. But yeah, so much. Just getting through a couple of things. Talk about this. Basic principle of common sense. You can see with like all of this that there's no such thing anymore really. FMV, that's the latest edition. Let's see. So I timed my how long I take to skip FMVs, like people that came from the holy German executable and changed to souls are confronted with something. Like on this executable, on this version and EPC, you can disable FMVs. On souls, you can't. And what do people do when they come from some holy version to some obviously inferior version that doesn't allow FMV disabling? They just do this. They rename or delete the FMV directory. Just entitlement. Like we come from some better version or something, and that's like no one even asks about this. Like no one asks, hey, I have a problem with FMVs. They just do this, and this is like uh, encouraged more or less. I feel. So let me show some screenshots. FMV. So this is a chat log from Crit stream. I can just so it isn't put out of context. Putting something out of context is like the buzzword of these days. Everything is put out of context. So Jappy asked like in Crit stream as he switched to Souls if he does remove FMVs. Crit said yes because he couldn't have any like frame rate switches and he would take any penalty there is. Like doesn't matter. That's what he answered. And then okay, Crit. Jappy asked answered something like Crit said something bad, but he just said something like that. Like because of compatibility, he deleted this, which is what happened. And at this point, like there was a 1 second penalty because I was the only one running this. It was not an issue. It was not an issue of like discussing any penalties for this game. There was some case for TR3 where someone deleted FMVs, so it's not even here. So someone got a penalty from deleting the 2 FMVs that are in TR3, like and got like 1 second. And I timed like how long I take for skipping those, and it's like up to 3 seconds to make it like consistently in those last 3 runs. And then I asked for some re-evaluation, and some people still had like the 1 second penalty in mind, and they're like freaking laughing about this 1 second penalty. Like I'm also talking about this in my world record run at the very start. If I got it somewhere, yeah, you can just check that out. That I've seen people like doing this a lot. Many people do this. Just don't ask in community even. Just do that. Like you come from this version, should be entitled to do that, this or something. I don't know. And that this is like this mentality in this community. Like 1 second penalty. It's like peanuts. Like who fuck even cares? Yeah, I'm gonna take it too. Like this is the cheating mentality that is in this community as well. Like this is I'm calling this cheating if you do this for time saves, and just laughing about the 1 second is like just showing the mindset of these people. So much for FMVs. There's like still some delay tactics going on. They're still waiting for voting. I'm not going to push for it. Like I'm not going to stay for much longer anyway. So it went for 1 or 2 weeks already. No one wants to find any solutions. So I'm not going to see that. So yeah, game file modding, also a thing. Some people were running with widescreen fixes without asking around, which could be legit in TR1, but for TR2, it's really a executable modification. So not going to go too deep into that. What else is in this community? Why the PlayStation 1 hate. So backtrack a bit. Let me search. Yeah, I got screenshots for this. PS1 hate here. So like 3 months ago, roughly, let me just check. Let's quit this at 1 hour 30. Like 3 months ago, I've been like, it's what I always do. If I do a PS1 run, I do them single segmented. It has always been the same. I have always kind of dumped the in-game time with my tool. It was always like I'm running this for 1.5 years, and I've kind of always done this. I'm quite proud about these runs. So I'm dumping the in-game time and then like showing the run. And 3 months ago, this was like laughed at. I don't know why. Back then, I didn't like. You can check the timestamp in the log. I didn't react to that. I was like, okay, the fuck is this? Why am I getting laughed at by some dude? And again, laughed at like on the next post where, yeah, like I'm doing single segmented runs in PS1, and this happened 2 days ago or yesterday. I don't know, 2 days ago I think. So this is my most recent run, and this led to this guy. This probably led to this guy doing this hate speech. So watch, I'm gonna go through what happened. So this guy laughed at my run again, and I was not having any of that anymore. There was once, and I didn't react this time. I was like saying, "Dude, why am I getting laughed at?" And where is it? Yesterday. Oh my god, what's going on? And it has always been like this. You can check my submissions of like obsolete runs here. So, a bit more up even. So, I posted this. There was a screenshot I just showed. It got laughed at here. I was like pointing him out for like that is a super mode, by the way, laughing at runs directly blocked. I find it funny putting the wrong time in the title. It's not really professional. But Bay Rage again if you want to debate it with like all the good people. And whatever, like blah blah. No, these are not really important. Then Ollie asked me why I put that in my run. Like, it has not been an issue. Like, watch my runs. I didn't change the titles or anything. Watch my runs. Watch like obsolete runs shown. Watch like my first run. All of these are single segmented. I've always done the same. Watch the first run I submitted. I always, or usually on single segment runs, if it's tagged single segment in the title, which I think deserves some recognition, I always put the in-game time. I didn't even put the RTA in the info. No one cared back in the day. It was fine. It was just verified by Evil, and in-game time. Didn't even put the RTA. It was just from the video. No issue whatsoever. I've done this with dozens of runs. You can see them. But all of a sudden, it's a problem if I put the runs like that. Like, I don't know. And that's what made him snap or something. I don't know. Watch. I didn't do I didn't react any more with Nikhil this day. And there's like a huge discussion how people should tag their videos. Oh my god, like fucking seriously, what are we talking about? And this guy said, like, I personally disagree. Just read this. Like, people are telling me how I should put videos on YouTube. That is how bad it got. Like, just from this, like someone laughing at my video, like putting apparently a wrong time in the title. This guy makes a huge scene, and that is a super mod. And on this night, on the night after these comments here, he did the like hateful conduct thing. You can watch. So I didn't have any. I didn't go like I blocked him. Like seriously, I should do this again. Oops. Block. So yeah, this is just the toxicity in this community. It was something that is fine for like so long. Like just check my submissions, like everything single segment. Many of them, some don't because I didn't care. I put the RTA because I was like, okay, but in-game time in my opinion is like the fairest timing method for PS1. That's why I put it on the title and so on. What else? PS1 hate. Oh yeah, PS1 is very loved in the community, as you can tell. Very friendly community. That's all incorrect. ILIGT. Oh yeah, also like some just going through some drama. So some guy that makes you seeing some here and there posted a new game plus run on the leaderboards. Like it's just things like this you have to deal with. So on these leaderboards on the PC glitched any percent. Someone submitted a new game plus run. So There's no New Game Plus tab. It is there for ILs, and it is here, New Game Plus tag, which is needed. Like, you have to really tag New Game Plus, in my opinion. He submitted this, said like, why the fuck is this? I rejected that. I don't see in the rules that I can't use New Game Plus and so on. Yeah, blah blah and so on. New Game Plus is allowed as far as he thinks. So why is rejected? Blah blah. Ask me, I guess. One sec. I need to answer something. All right. So yeah, apparently there was a segmented run somewhere already that is New Game Plus. I didn't know that, but if you check segmented, there is apparently this one is a Harpoon only run. Verified by who? Yeah, no comment. Like, there's no New Game Plus anything. It's just people do whatever they want without asking, and making a huge scene if something doesn't go their way. It's like the FMV thing. Like I said, this FMV thing here. I just check. No one asks for solutions. They just do whatever they think is best, and any working version is a good version. So, I hoped it wasn't too ranty. I hope I showed some insight how this community is kind of going downhill, in my opinion. And I'm still not sure why I was attacked like that. Like, I'm no saint. I am asking the questions that lead to some people thinking about things. I am very fine with being the boogeyman for being such a dude. But man, some questions should be asked. And if you ask questions in this community, you're not gonna have a good time. I'm telling you that. So I really think, like, based on these games, like, I don't know about these. Like, I don't even know why they are together with two minors. There's like really no interaction between them. I don't think this is like going anywhere. I also don't know what I'm doing next. I'm gonna keep doing runs. I'm not sure if I'm gonna submit them. They take very long to submit, obviously, because I'm like the boogeyman. It take really long to be verified because I'm like the boogeyman, and many, like, couple of these people that are very active don't want my run to. Don't seem to verify my run. It's like almost done that by crit, in this case, or evil, which doesn't really have time to verify them. But it's how it is. Do not ask questions if you're in this community. Just do whatever you want. I think is the best way to survive in this community. And everything that works just works. And yeah. So yeah, as I said, I'm gonna keep doing runs, but I'm not. I don't want to be part of a community that has people like this in them. It's just, I don't know. It's not good for my health, I think. Like, seriously. So yeah, that was some drama. 1.5 hours of drama. A bit more than that even. Yeah, I'm gonna continue doing the guides. I don't know where I'm going. Like, I'm thinking if there's like a critical mass of people to open a new community, even though, like, only if there's a critical mass that things like that really thinks that things are not really going the right direction. Only then. Otherwise, I'm just doing my own thing and keep doing single segmented runs. Those are the most simple runs there are. and there's no question about these types of speedrunning. So I don't really care anymore what these guys have to offer with these unclear rules that no one follows really, like the mods, FMVs, 1 second, fuck that. And yeah, this is a community gone wrong, in my opinion, by a huge influx of people that are inexperienced with any speedrunning without proper like fundamental rules, as I said. So yeah, I'm gonna like if you're watching um, my any percent guides, like I started a PS1 any percent guide. Um, I'm gonna probably do the next part like offshoring until like deck during the weekend. So be sure to watch that. Oops.